Mullen Scales of Early Learning. Final Diagnostic Project, made by Megan and Katie. The Mullen Scales of Early Learning measures cognitive ability and motor development quickly and reliably. It has 5 scales, including gross motor, visual reception, fine motor, expressive language, and receptive language. The age range for the test is birth to 68 months, and the administration time takes 15 minutes for those about 1 year old, 25 to 30 minutes for those around 3 years of age, and 40 to 60 minutes for those around 5 years old. Materials included in the Mullen Scales of Early Language include the manual, item administration book, stimulus book, record forms, along with the various toys and objects listed below. The first scale that is assessed in the Mullen is gross motor function, and the reason it's important to assess is because gross motor movements are the foundation from which other cognitive domains are built upon, such as fine motor skills, visual reception, and receptive and expressive language skills. The assessment provides tasks that assess gross motor skills, which should develop at the earliest stages of infancy, such as head rotation and arm and leg movement in the supine position. The tasks become more complex as age increases, such as being able to pull self to stand, standing alone, throwing underhand, and even the ability to balance on one foot. The later gross motor tasks assess the child's strength in the major muscle groups, focusing on control and balance. The second scale that we assess is visual reception, and this is important because a typically developing child should have the ability to use their oculomotor skills for target localization, visual tracking, visual scanning, and visual memory. These skills can be assessed without the child needing to provide a vocal or verbal response. The earliest tasks that are assessed include if the child can fixate on a silver triangle, stare at their own hand, and look for a dropped spoon. More complex visual receptive tasks include matching size and color, visual memory of objects, and matching letters and words. The third scale that we measure is fine motor skills, and they're evaluated in order to determine if a child is developing the skills that are necessary for fine motor planning, such as writing, self-feeding, and manipulating small items with their fingers. The earliest tasks that are assessed include if the child is able to bring his or her fist to mouth, if the child reaches and grasps for blocks, and if the child uses a pincer grasp. More complex fine motor tasks include assessing the child's ability to string beads onto a shoelace, cutting with scissors, imitating drawings, and folding a piece of paper 3 times. The fourth scale that we assess is receptive language, and this is necessary because it needs to be determined if a child is able to comprehend and remember information that is presented auditorily and visually. In particular, these tasks are designed to assess a child's ability to listen as well as to visually discriminate and remember relations such as size, orientation, and comparison. The tasks that are assessed include if the child reacts reflexively to loud noises, if the child responds to voice and face by smiling, and if the child enjoys self and mirror interaction. More complex receptive language tasks include assessing the child's auditory spatial awareness, size and length concepts, and the ability to follow 3 unrelated commands. The final scale that we evaluate is expressive language, and these are important for clinicians to assess because the information indicates if a child can not only process a stimulus on the receptive level, but also if the child can provide an appropriate verbal output. This requires that the child can comprehend auditory and visual stimuli while utilizing vocal motor skills in response. The earliest tasks that are assessed include if the child is able to perform sucking, swallowing, and chewing movements, if the child coos, chuckles, or laughs, and if the child says his or her first words. More complex expressive language tasks include assessing the child's ability to say 2-word phrases, the ability to identify picture vocabulary, ability to use pronouns, and the ability to repeat sentences. The table below can be found in the manual. This table instructs the clinician where to start,
what to do if the child does not pass 3 consecutive items, how to establish a basal, how to establish the ceiling, and how to calculate the raw score. Case history. Joy Baker, or JB, is a 26-month-old female who was initially referred to Help Me Grow for an evaluation due to her family being concerned that she only says a few words. JB was evaluated using the Batal Developmental Inventory 2. Scores indicated that JB's adaptive, personal social, gross motor, fine motor, perceptual, and cognitive skills are all within normal range for her age group. JB's scores in receptive and expressive communication skills were out of range for her age group, which indicate delays. The early intervention specialist who administered the assessment referred JB to the Cleveland State University Speech and Hearing Clinic for further evaluation by a speech-language pathologist. Good afternoon, Mrs. Baker. We are here today because Joy was referred to the Cleveland State Speech and Hearing Clinic by Help Me Grow so that we can further evaluate her speech and language. Now, before we get started evaluating Joy, I have a few questions for you. Okay. The first one being, did Joy have any prenatal or postnatal medical concerns? And if so, can you elaborate?
I didn't have any problems with the pregnancy. Everything went as it was supposed to. She doesn't have any other problems. But I guess the only thing that's worth noting maybe is that she had a couple ear infections. Okay. It seemed like a lot more than what a normal kid would have, around 4 or so.
All right. Is there a family history of speech, language, or academic problems?
No, not in our immediate family. Her sister is fine. She has been speaking, I think, how she's supposed to. And there aren't any concerns on my side of the family, and I'm not sure about my husband, so I would say no.
All right. How is Joy's language developing compared to her friends, family, cousins, other people that were around her age?
To me, it seems like she's just not talking as much as the other kids on the playground. I can watch other kids her age, and they could say a couple words together, but the only words that Joy is really saying are mama and dada still, and she definitely says no and uh-oh, but nothing other than that.
All right. How is Joy's daily life affected by her communication problems?
I would say the biggest problem that she has is when she wants something, it doesn't seem like she has words to tell me. She just uses these gibberish noises to try to tell me what she wants, and I have to just guess and guess what she wants, and it gets very frustrating for both of us because it takes so long before I can figure it out.
Right. All right, and my final question is, what is your ultimate goal for Joy?
I just want her to be able to tell me what she wants whenever she wants something to eat or drink, or if she wants a special toy, and just at the same rate as the other kids are talking.
All right. I think I have what I need. Thank you so much, Mrs. Baker, again for coming in today, and we will go ahead and evaluate Joy now.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Give to me.
Oh, uh-oh.
Give to me. Ah. See baby. Pat baby. Do you want to play with the baby? Give the baby to me.
Oh.
Where is the chair? Where is the door? the block to me. Give the car to me. Oh. Show me Dolly's eyes. Show me Dolly's nose. Show me Dolly's mouth. Show me Dolly's ears. Show me Dolly's hands. Show me Dolly's feet. There. Show me Dolly's hair. There. Peekaboo. Peekaboo. Ah. Mama. Wow. Peekaboo. Uh-oh. I'll get it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, sit down. Oh. What is this? Mama! What is this? Da. Da. What do we call this? Da. Da. Mama! What is this? Uh-oh. Sit down. Oh. Thank you. What is this? What do we call this? What is this? Oh. Oh, no. What do we call this? Ah. Da. What is this? Oh. Uh-oh. Oh. Oof. Ugh. What do we call this? God. Mama. Mama. Oh. Oh, goodness. What do we call this? Ah. Uh-uh. For the gross motor portion of our test, we started at number 18. It is said to start here if the child is between 21 to 26 months. Since there was no delay indicated from Help Me Grow in the area of gross motor for Joy, we started at the appropriate age level. We received our basal score after the first 3 consecutive items with at least 1 point. Those would be number 18 through 20. We received our ceiling score with 3 consecutive items of 0. Those would be number 29, 30, and 31.
Similar to gross motor skills, we tested Joy in visual reception starting at 21 to 32 months, which was number 16, because there was no indication that she had a delay in visual reception skills. Joy got her basal skill at number 16 through number 18, and she got her ceiling score at number 25 through number 27 because she scored incorrectly on those 3 consecutively.
For the fine motor portion of our test, we again started at the appropriate age range, which was indicated to start at number 13 if the child was between 18 to 29 months. Joy received her basal score at number 13 through 15 when she scored 3 consecutive answers with 1 point or more. She received her ceiling score at 19 through 21 after receiving 3 consecutive zeros.
Since it was previously determined that Joy's receptive language skills were delayed, we started testing her at the previous age range, which was 15 to 22 months, starting at number 12. She received her basal score by scoring 3 consecutive answers correctly, and we continued testing until she received her ceiling score at number 19 through number 21.
For the expressive language portion of the test, we again started at a delayed age range, which was 15 through 23 months. Because Joy did not get her basal score within the first 3 trials, we had to go back to the previous age range of 9 through 14 months. We continued the test until she received her ceiling score at numbers 13 through 15 after receiving 3 consecutive zeros.
The total raw score for each subsection consists of all points below the basal item plus all points scored between the basal item and the ceiling item. The raw scores were then plotted on the score summary chart. We then referred to the manual to find the t-score, band of error, percentile rank, and descriptive category that corresponded to each raw score. From this information, we were then able to plot the age equivalents, which were plotted back onto the score summary. Finally, based on the t-scores for each subsection, we were able to create the scale t-score profile, which provides a visualization of how Joy's scores compare to the mean. The early learning composite is an optional portion of scoring, but this information was gathered by using t-scores from visual reception, fine motor, receptive language, and expressive language.
Final thoughts. While we like that the Mullen scales of early learning test Joy's gross motor, visual reception, fine motor, expressive and receptive language skills, a test that specifically tests only expressive and receptive language skills may have been better for Joy, due to the fact it was indicated from her previous evaluation that she was delayed in those specific areas of language. We also may have been able to find out more about Joy's language using an informal language sample. Joy should be referred to an audiologist for a full hearing evaluation to rule out any auditory impairments that may be affecting her expressive and receptive language skills. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed our video and learned more about the Mullen scales of early learning.